This podcast is brought to you by Knowledge at Wharton. Please visit knowledge.wharton.upenn.edu for more information.
Ask any CEO or senior level executive what his or her biggest challenge is, and the answer is almost always finding and keeping good people. Yet most executives fail to manage their company's needs in a way that recognizes the unpredictability of the global marketplace. In a book titled Talent on Demand, Managing Talent in an Age of Uncertainty, Peter Cappelli, director of Wharton's Center for Human Resources, proposes a new approach to this issue, and that is to apply the principles of supply chain management to people. He is here today to talk about his ideas, including the challenge of managing the workforce in a recessionary economy. Joining him is Joyce Bradley, Senior Vice President, General Manager of the Delaware Valley region of Lee Hecht Harrison, a global human capital consulting firm headquartered in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. Peter and Joyce, thanks for joining us. Peter, could you define talent management and then summarize your approach to thinking about how it relates to supply chain management?
So talent management is a simple issue, and that is we're trying to anticipate what the needs and the demand will be for people, for human capital into the future, and then setting up some sort of plan for meeting it. So it's pretty simple. It's the same problem that you see in lots of different parts of business. What do we think we're going to need? How are we going to go about meeting that? The complication is in the old days, this was really seen as a sort of engineering problem. And that is, things were thought to be quite predictable. If you went back to the days of regulation, for example, where companies were pretty sure they knew what they were going to be making 10 years out or so, they could just work backwards and say, this is our product demand 10 years out. These are the products we're going to be making. These are the skills we're going to need in order to produce those products. Let's just work backwards. And the other assumption was that all your talent was internal. You'd hire people right out of college or right out of school. You'd put them in apprentice programs or development programs, and then you'd work them through those processes to develop the skills that you had. So we had these big bureaucratic systems that were based on the assumption of certainty, that you knew what you were going to need, and you could just work backwards and build to that. So the problem now is all that assumption of certainty is gone. Product markets change so quickly. People hop from company to company, and you can't be sure what the demands are going to be, and you can't be sure what the supply is, at least your internal supply. So we have to go about thinking about this issue differently. And there are a series of techniques that come from fields like supply chain management that are designed specifically to deal with this uncertainty. And so that's what we're thinking about doing, how to manage the uncertainty of the process.
Joyce, you're out there every day dealing with companies and employees. What do you hear about the problems they have with talent management?
Well, I think talent management is a good descriptor of how many companies are approaching their talent pools and their human resources today in this market. What we're seeing is that many companies are looking at it from a holistic perspective, from not only recognizing talent and selecting talent, but hiring talent, retaining those same people, developing those people, keeping them engaged, and at the appropriate time redeploying and transitioning. So it's more of a holistic approach. It ties into Peter's descriptor of what's happening in the marketplace, and I think the whole area of leadership development is really intensified as a result of what's happening in the demographics and the mergers and acquisitions and the productivity demands.
Maybe just one additional thought on that. The reason why this matters so much to companies is that when you make mistakes, it's really costly.
It is.
That is, you don't have enough people to get the work done, or we're seeing that more now. You have too many people, and you either are losing them and losing the investments in them, or you have to lay them off, which is expensive and traumatic.
Yes.
But now when you think about supply chain management, you think about widgets, people sort of moving inventory in, moving it out. Is there a downside to thinking about people as widgets, that may have to be canceled, have to be pre-ordered, maybe they're overstocked? I mean, is there Is there some kind of dehumanizing involved in this approach?
Certainly could be. And, there's a long history of dehumanizing employees in the workplace. But I think these are decisions that get made anyway. That is, companies have to think about how many people are we going to hire. They have to think about, are we going to lay people off and how many are we going to lay off? They have to think about, are we going to develop people and how many are we going to develop? And at the moment, most companies, the survey results show, they're sort of just doing that by flipping coins. So they're making those decisions anyway, and the problem is they're just not making them with any kind of logic behind them. The survey evidence shows, and maybe you've seen some of this too, that about 2/3 of companies do no planning for workforce issues at all. So they're just making these decisions ad hoc without any thought behind them. So I'd like to think the way we're pursuing this is thoughtful versus not thoughtful, as opposed to widgets versus humans.
Yeah, and I think to add to Peter's point, I think the way you create your corporate culture as a leader is playing more and more into the retention of talent and the attraction of talent. People are going online and looking at mission statements and vision statements and trying to understand what kind of organization this is and what their values and what their ethics are, and trying to determine whether that's a good fit for them. And on the flip side, the companies are looking for people that will fit into their culture. So it's a really important issue, I think.
The Labor Department recently reported that the U.S. economy shed 80,000 jobs in March, which is the biggest drop in 5 years. What kind of challenge does that pose for a company that knows it has to lay some people off but doesn't want to gut its workforce?
Well, maybe Joyce may say something in the middle of a minute about the layoff side per se, but I would say if you took a step back and thought, how were you thinking about these issues before the economy turned down? And I think the worst way to do it is to simply assume you know what the demand will be. And that is not recognize that there's uncertainty. So I think the model that I'm suggesting is one where we try to be adaptable and responsive to the inevitable changes in demand, rather than just assume that we're going to plunge away. I think the little bit of history here, what killed this old approach was the planning efforts that went on in the 1970s, when companies were expecting growth rates of about 5% a year, and they just planned for that, and the economy unexpectedly turned south. They had these long talent pipelines that were like 10 years long to produce people internally. And then it turned out that they were producing a lot more talent than they needed. The 1980s came along, and they ended up having to lay everybody off, and they got rid of all the functions for managing this. So I think the issue is to, before the recessions come, to be responsive, to set up a system where you can be responsive to the changes that are happening and not just plunge blindly ahead with the assumptions about growth that you pretty much know aren't going to be very accurate.
To piggyback on what Peter just mentioned, what we talk about a lot is agility, and what we hear our leadership folks in leadership talking about in companies is the agility of leaders to flex and to bend not only with the marketplace but with employees. We're in a situation now where we have multi-generations in the same workforce, multi-cultures. Leaders have to be able to address the needs of individuals, treat individuals as unique people in the workforce, and flex to the demands of the marketplace and meet those at the same time. So agility is really a key characteristic of leaders that we're seeing.
And maybe we could just be concrete about an example about how you might do this. And that is, if you think about the kind of talent, the amount of talent you're going to need in an organization, some of that you want to be developing internally, but the more you do that and develop internally, you're making a big investment, and you're taking on a pretty big amount of risk. And the risk is, if we don't need these people, we've blown the investment. So you probably don't want to, if you think you're going to need, let's say, 100 people, and that's your best guess, but you're uncertain about it, you may not want to develop 100 internally. You might want to develop maybe 80 internally, and then expect to hire on the outside if you fall short of that demand. And then maybe you might want to say, we'll use some contingent work and some temporary help to close the gap as well, right? So that we are building some adaptability into the system and not trying to meet our entire estimated demand simply with internal development, which is a big risk, a big upfront investment, and really expensive if you get it wrong.
Peter, in your book, you point out that many of the talent management techniques that are, quote, in vogue now, like 360-degree